What's going on, wrestling fans? JLP talking NXT here. And today, what I've got for you guys is NXT August 8th, 2023 review/recap. Now, I'm not going to waste any time with an intro. We're just going to get right into things because that is exactly how this episode of NXT started. It started off with an absolute banger between Axiom and Mustafa Ali. I don't even have words to describe this match. Like, this match is like this title right here. Golden. Because it was just a spectacular match. Like, easily one of the best matches. Just counter after counter after counter. When you got a great worker like Axiom and a great worker like Mustafa Ali and you put them in the ring together, you know, that's kind of what happens. But this match had it all. I had Scripps being weird on the ramp with his two friends that he has now. I still don't know what they're called. They probably have a name. I just haven't paid much attention to it. But yeah, I enjoyed this match. It was a great match, a great fire way to open the show. But in the end, Mustafa Ali got the victory by accidentally taking the mask off of Axiom a little bit. But he didn't get it all the way off, and then he let Axiom put it back on. Then he pushed him off the top rope onto the floor. And Ali threw him in the ring, hit his 450, and got him with the 1-2-3 to retain. Now he's continuing his chase for the North American Championship. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But this was an absolute banger of a match and a great way to start the show. I'm just now realizing how small this belt is. But to be fair, it's a belt I got from the kids section of Walmart like 4 years ago. So we're just going to have to get over that. Anyway, the next thing that happened was Schism was backstage and they were pissed because they were looking for the Creed brothers, because the Creed brothers, they did their thing last week and taunted them. It was basically some chaos. They threatened to turn NXT upside down, and then they went on their search. And then the next match was Kalani Jordan versus Blair Davenport. And, you know, it was okay. It wasn't the best match I've ever seen, but it was an okay match. Kalani Jordan, the new rookie, Blair Davenport, supposed to be this dominant force, but she can't beat Roxanne Perez because Roxanne Perez is simply the best. She liked my Instagram post, so Roxanne Perez respects JLP. Heard it here first. But with that being said, this match, it was a good, decent match. You know, it wasn't the worst match I've ever seen, but it ended with Blair Davenport getting the win after hitting her knee and pinning Kalani Jordan. Then Dana Brooke was pissed, so then she tried to attack Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport said hell no and got out of there. And now Dana Brooke's all pissed. Dana Brooke has just been pissed lately, and yeah, that's been a whole thing. But yeah, after that, we went backstage, got an interview with Von Wagner, and set up his match with Braun Breaker later in the night. So the next match was another banger, in my opinion. We had Noam Dar versus Tyler Bate under Heritage Cup rules for what Vic Joseph likes to call the Counterfeit Cup, because Noam Dar is not the actual Heritage Cup champion, but he has a Heritage Cup because he was like mute without his Heritage Cup. They had to push him around in a wheelchair, and he just didn't do anything. So they gave him a fake Heritage Cup, so he'd cheer up. And now he's fully convinced he's the real Heritage Cup champion. But he got humbled real quick because Tyler Bate got the first fall in the second round with his Tyler driver. Noam Dar did get the second fall with a submission. I believe it was in the fourth round. And I think it was either the fifth or sixth round. Tyler Bate rolled. They had a combination where they rolled each other up, but Tyler Bate ended up getting the last laugh. He rolled him up and pinned him, and he won the Counterfeit Cup from Noam Dar, and Noam Dar was like about to cry. And honestly, I thought it was kind of funny. So yeah, Tyler Bate is your second Heritage Cup champion behind Nathan Frazier. So the next thing that happened was a little interaction between Dijak and Carmelo Hayes in the locker room, but Wes Lee interrupted it because he wants a shot at Carmelo Hayes, and then Dijak and Wes Lee got in an argument, so then Carmelo Hayes walked away, And then they agreed to have a match. Dijak and Wesley did, I think next week or whenever. Yeah, next week they said that. So then after Dijak walked away, Wesley turned around to talk to Carmelo Hayes, and he wasn't there no more. And then Dijak came in, and he interfered. Or not, he didn't interfere. He attacked Wesley from behind. And so that really set up their match for next week. And then after that, Ilya Dragunov went to the ring to call out Trick Williams because he blames Trick Williams for losing his NXT title match at the Great American Bash. And then they set up a match for Beach Break in 2 weeks. So, yeah, that should be a pretty decent match. But, yeah, it was a good segment between Ilya Dragunov and Trick Williams. We go backstage again to see Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak getting interviewed because they were supposed to have a match with Hank and Tank. But Hank and Tank got attacked by Schism. And then Drew Gulak made Enzo Amore reference. He said that Hank and Tank were SOFT soft. Well, I mean, we all know that SAWFT soft. That was cringy, I'm sorry. But, maybe Enzo and Cass come back to, probably not. But, that'd be kind of cool. So, yeah, that happened. And then Briggs and Jensen interrupted and said, we'll face you tonight. And so that's what happened. They set up a match for later in the night. But the next match was Von Wagner versus Braun Breaker, and it was your typical big man match. It wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't the best match. It was an okay match. It was a little back and forth, but it did end with Braun Breaker hitting a spear on Von Wagner and getting the 3 count, which was a win that Braun Breaker needed to have. He hasn't won a match in a while. And then after that, Von Wagner put Braun Breaker through the announce table, and Vic Joseph's candy that was on the announce table went everywhere, and that was pretty funny. So, yeah, I like this Von Wagner putting people through tables gimmick. It's entertaining. The crowd's into it, so I'm into it. But yeah, decent match. So after that, we get an Eddie Thorpe vignette talking about Dijak. So that basically means Dijak is not going to win the match against Wesley, because I did forget to mention earlier that match is for the #1 contendership to the NXT Championship. So yeah, that was a cool vignette. And then the next match was Briggs and Jensen versus Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak, and it was a good match, technical, because Drew Gulak likes to be technical. He doesn't do high flying. Briggs and Jensen really don't either. I like Briggs and Jensen. I think they're a pretty good team. And then their manager, Fallon Henley, she's great at her job, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I was very invested into what I was watching, and it was a decent match. But in the end, Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak got the win with the Charlie Dempsey hitting a dragon suplex on Jensen. And yeah, it was a decent match. There was some interference by some dude. I'm completely blanking on his name right now, so I'm sorry about that. But that's besides the point. I'll just insert it right here. But yeah, it was a good match and a good win for Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey. Next match was Ivy Nile versus Kiana James. And this story they're telling with Ivy Nile is a little strange. Kiana James and her had a match. It wasn't really special, but Schism and their 1,000 followers surrounded ringside as the match was happening. So Ivy Nile was just like, what the fuck? That's basically what happened. And then Kiana James ended up winning, and then Schism let her leave. And then they got in the ring, and then they started attacking Ivy Nile. But then Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo came out to ringside, or they came out and saved Ivy Nile. And we got set up a tag title match next week between the Diet, who is in Schism, and the Family. So yeah, that should be a pretty entertaining match. But yeah, this match did what it needed to do. So after that, we go backstage, and Noam Dar is asking Tyler Bate for his cut back. But Tyler Bate's like, no, I want it fair and square. Then Nathan Frazier comes in and says, Noam Dar, you can get your cut back if you admit it's fake. Noam Dar says no, and then Nathan Frazier says, all right, if you say it's fake, you get a shot at the real cup and your cut back. And Noam Dar basically admits that the one that Oro Minso lost was the real cup, which is the one Nathan Frazier has. So at Heatwave, we got that match for the cup unification between Noam Dar and Nathan Frazier, and then after that, Nathan Frazier says he owes one to Noam Dar, so I'm assuming Frazier's going to retain and unify the cups at Heatwave, and then give Tyler Bate a shot at his cup. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So, yeah. So after that, we got a interview segment with Tiffany Stratton, and she goes on about the shopping spree she did. Who really cares? But then she said that her next challenger is nobody, so, you know, that's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. But then after that, we get to the main event, which is Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, accompanied by Mommy Rhea Ripley, taking on Dragon Lee, accompanied by Rey Mysterio, for the NXT North American Championship, and it was a great match. I actually thought that they were going to have Dragon Lee win, but, you know, they didn't, because Dirty Dom did his thing. He cheated to win, as always. So what happened at the end? Rhea Ripley threw in the North American Championship. Dom had it, but then Ray grabbed it from him, got up on the apron, so the referee was distracted. Then Rhea Ripley hit Dragon Lee in the head with the Women's Championship. Then Dom hit a Michinoku driver to get the 3 count and retain his North American Championship. That wasn't all, though, because Rey Mysterio then got in the ring and said, "What are you doing? You're a Mysterio. You're a disgrace to the Mysterio name," which is such a terrible thing for a father to say. But that's besides the point. Then Rhea Ripley got between them, started pushing Ray around, and Ray can't do anything. So then out of nowhere comes Lyra Valkyria to make the save. She hit her kick on Rhea Ripley, and it looks like we got our next feud for the women's title. I don't know, though, because they're still doing that thing with Raquel Rodriguez on Raw. It's going to be very interesting, to say the least. But, yeah, it was a good show. I was very happy to see Lyra Valkyria at the end take out Rhea Ripley. Lyra Valkyria did just drop a new shirt, so I might have to cop that. So, we'll see what happens. But with that being said, this week's episode of NXT, JLP ranks 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was a very watchable show, and I enjoyed every second of it. NXT, what I love about it is the amount of in-ring action we get. We don't get a lot of that on the main roster. We get more action on NXT in the ring than we do on Raw and SmackDown combined, and you guys can fight me on that. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. And always remember, if you don't subscribe, I'll hurt you. But if you do subscribe, I'll do my best to try and heal you. See you guys next time. Bye.